the recording, I today have with me Bridie Allen, and I am so excited to share this story. Welcome, Bridie.
Hi, thank you.
I'm so excited for this because obviously you were like an integral part of Aruka therapy, becoming Aruka therapy. So that's a really cool story. But I wanted to start with your healing journey. Like, what led you to healing?
Yeah.
Or to this whole world? Like, what opened you up to this world?
Well, honestly, like I went through like severe depression, and when I was diagnosed, so I started like fainting at work, all of the things. This is like pre-COVID. And I had all of the tests, like the heart monitoring, everything, and all these doctors were trying to like figure out what was wrong with me. And then one doctor was like, how about we just do a mental health plan? And goes, oh, you're severely depressed. You've got severe anxiety. Here's a couple of prescriptions. Off you go. And I was just like, cool. What do I do with the rest of that? Like, 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 do I see somebody? I had experienced domestic violence. I was a single mom. Like, all of this stuff kind of was probably coming up to explode. And I was like, what do I like? What is depression?
Great question.
Yeah. Yeah. What is this? But what led me to this road, I guess it was just me listening to my intuition at that point in time. And this really cool chick that I knew was like advertising these $50 healing sessions.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
That was like 2018.
2018, 2019, something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like nearly like 9 years ago, 8 years ago. Wow. So so we had that session and you were obviously like, what is this? Blown away. And I didn't even really know what it was that I was doing at that point. I was just full freestyling, just everything that I'd learned, pulling it all together and just doing it all intuitively. And then I want you to tell the rest of the story. I guess it was you went and did, after that work with me, you went and did another certification.
Yeah. Yeah. So from literally, like, I got in the car and I started Googling, like, how do I heal people? How do I do life coaching? Like, all of this sort of stuff. And 'cause at that point I was working for the Department of Health and Human Services in housing. So I wanted to help people, and I already knew that I wanted to help people. But what I was experiencing there was like I wasn't actually helping people that wanted help. They needed help and they wanted help to a point, but like they expected it and they expected everyone to do things for them. And I didn't want people to expect me to do the healing for them. I wanted them to know that they could do it themselves and like actually really want it. So yeah, I went on and studied like life coaching, hypnotherapy, NLP, timeline, all of that within this one school. But it wasn't what I wanted it to be. Like I didn't feel like I was ready to go out and help people help themselves.
And probably after doing this session with me, did you realize when you did that there was still some things that you like didn't?
Yeah. And I remember bringing that up with them, and I was like, why don't you put people into like theta, for example, and why don't you work with their subconscious at this level? And like I was trying to pick apart what they were teaching me, and they didn't like
no, most people don't. Weird. But yeah, you'd had that experience already of what depth looks like in healing, and you were like, this is a good base. And I think that's where a lot of people see it. They know that what they're learning is a good base, but they're kind of like, there's something missing, something deeper, especially people with a lot of integrity who really want to help people at the deepest level possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
They feel that gap more than anybody else. So then I think it was about 2018 or 2019 when I started when we had this conversation and I started writing up. I think it was a full 12 months before I actually released Aruka. I remember seeing my stories the other day and there was all these things like Aruka's coming, but it took me quite a while between my own healing journey to actually release it. I think it was 2019 when you then came back to me after that certification, and you said, like, I really can't remember, but you said something along, can you teach me? Can you teach me?
It was after I had ALA, so it was 2020, and I was like, I need to do this with people like properly. And I was like, Jess, you need to teach me. Like, you need to teach me what you do, because like this is amazing, you know? I remember that. But, yeah. And yeah, I just felt like so many more people needed access to it, and you didn't have the ability to do that at that time. Like,
Yeah, well, that was at the time where I was having so many people come to me. It was insane.
yeah,
Instagram had just become a thing of the world. I
yeah,
think it was 2019 when it started getting kind of bigger, and
yeah,
then 2020 when I was like, all right, let's do this. Let's make it into something. But yeah, it definitely was one of those things that took off by referral, because so many
mhm,
people were saying, you have to go and see this person. I don't know what she's doing, but you got to go and see her. And it was starting to explode. And then I think I'd been talking to you about that, just even as a friend.
mhm.
And then you're like, you need to teach me. I've got like little fur balls all over me. You need to teach me.
Yeah,
You need to teach me what you're doing.
yeah.
And I wrote it all out, and you were like, yeah. I think you were like, this is like a full, like, you need to teach this. This is like a full course. You need to make it into a course. And I'd been toying with the idea, and then I was like, yep, let's do it. And you were my first person to enroll, I think you were. Yeah, the very
Yeah,
first person
yeah.
to ever enroll.
I know. I was like, it's release cool. I'm there. Bang.
Yeah, you're in.
Yeah.
But then you obviously like have gone down a path of breath work as well, which is another, category of somatics. And you've had so many different therapy sessions, and you've done all the things, and you've been in women's circles, and you've been like really immersed in the
Yeah.
healing world. I would love to know from you what you like, what sets Aruka apart, and what you think sets it apart from everything else, having gone through all of those different experiences and journeys, and why you come back to it.
Well, I guess the reason I always come back to Aruka is, number one, like all the others I find are just tools to add to the belt, tools that you can use to help process, but Aruka really gets to the core.
Mm,
Aruka, you like, I don't believe, and I think, obviously this is through the teachings and stuff from you, but like from experience, I don't believe that you can heal something without bringing it into your forefront. And
mm.
so with breath work, like you can have these experiences that are amazing, and you can release a lot of energy. But like if you're not going into the story or into whatever happened, or the experience or whatever it is, I don't think that you're healing. I think that you're bypassing.
Absolutely agree.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think there are so many. It's so funny that you say this. We're so tapped in. I this morning was thinking about, I recently did a mini course in something called DBR, which is deep brain reorienting. And I was like, this is cool, but it's another tool. It's not a complete method. It's another tool. And that's most things that I see. I'm like, they're a tool in your tool belt, but they're not a complete method. And they're being sold as a complete method, which is really, really
Yeah.
frustrating for
Yeah.
people who are spending $6, $7, $8, $9, $10,000, and they're getting essentially only part of the picture.
Yeah.
It's
Totally.
it's
Totally.
not
And
good.
like that's not to discredit. I mean, I've done 2 different breathwork certifications that have both been amazing. And I did a lot of healing and inner work, but I'd already been doing Aruka. So a lot of the things that were spoken about, I already understood, and I'd already gone there. So I think maybe that's maybe why I've had such a profound experience with them too, because I've already gone there.
Yeah, you already had that deeper understanding and knowledge, because there are a lot of like someone I was speaking to this morning on social media talks about the breathwork bros. And she was like saying that there's breathwork bros that are like breathwork,
Yeah.
scream, cry, release, but there's no understanding of integration of what's behind,
Yeah.
behind those emotions and those releases, and also how to process things at that deeper level.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, like, me and you have definitely been to things like that as well, where it's like, wow, if you didn't know anything about this world, like, you would be having a very shit experience right now. So
100%,
yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so I guess, yeah, I agree in that it is that complete method and it gives you that deeper understanding. Obviously, that's what it's
Yeah.
all about. So,
Yeah.
have there been any client, like, is there any, obviously, you might not have permission from some clients to share, but there might be some that have given permission, or some that you can give some general examples around what you use Aruka therapy for and who you use it with and what you love, the way that you love to, or the person that you love to work with, for anyone that's going to watch this that's like, oh, Bridie, that's exactly what I need help with.
Well, I think like my last few experiences, and I'll just like not obviously go into them, but I'll talk about what we've experienced. And I think a lot of people probably in the last couple of years have come to me as a way to boost the love for themselves. A lot of people, and I think experience a lot of um, self-esteem issues and confidence issues and things like that. Um, and so, yeah, a lot of the women I've worked with have been around their self-esteem and confidence, but also just kind of getting out of their own way. A lot of women, you know, have done a bit of the healing work and they're kind of like stuck at that level of like, I've done the work, why aren't I kind of getting over the hurdle, like whatever it is, and to really go deep into those layers of like, okay, this is where it is. Like I've watched so many women that I've worked with in the last, you know, 18 months or more who have gone and like done this last level, and now they're like absolutely thriving. They've called in like their dream lives, everything they've ever wanted, the relationships, you know, the money, all of that. And that like that really lights me up because I love seeing that bit, you know? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that's the being able to do that for somebody at that stage. But even, I think someone was talking the other day, one of the other therapists was saying the beauty of Aruka is how much you can pivot, and
Mm.
you can meet someone who's never done it before and you can hold them all the way through until what you just said, that
Yeah.
completion, that like, because a lot of times people have gone from the breath work to another somatic practitioner to a Reiki to an EFT or a TFT or a hypnotherapy or an NLP, and they've like gone through all of these people, and we can be that missing end piece, but we also can save all of that time and money by pulling it into
Yeah.
doing that whole journey with them. Have you
Yeah.
had people who you've done that with where you've
Oh,
had them,
absolutely.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
from the very beginning?
Yeah, yeah. And I do have a couple of regulars that will be like, oh my God, are you opening spots? Let's just jump in. We just need like a quick refresh session, you know, and they started their journey with me. And I love that because then, you know, they might feel stuck at that level. And then they pivot straight forward, like, or they leap, you know, and it's like the timeline jumps, right? Like there's just a little bit of clearing that we need to do, and then we're jumping onto a new timeline. So yeah,
I
really
lo I
love
love
that.
that. I
Yeah.
love that feeling. I was thinking about this the other day because I was writing a post about quantum, about like a quantum leap, or like what feels like a quantum leap at the moment, because someone had posted on a reel of mine, it sounds like you've had a massive quantum leap. And I started writing it and I was like, did I have a massive quantum leap, or was it the 15 years of work that I've put in that's finally compounded?
Yeah, I know.
It
It's
it
interesting
does
to look at it like that, isn't it?
it does, and but it feels like it happens in a moment, and there is like a compounding effect of the things that you've done. And yeah, so
Yeah.
at the moment, what sort of, is it men and women? Is it just women? Like, what sort of clients are you wanting to work with? And if somebody's wanting to experience the Aruka method, what's the sort of things that, like, obviously self-confidence is one that you're working with?
Yeah, that self-confidence, being stuck or like just not knowing the steps, I think. So people that are like really stuck on not knowing what steps, that's I love to pull that out of people.
Mm,
Um, I do mostly work with women, and I think it's just that women more so relate to me, especially women with kids, because I have kids
mm,
too. So it's like we definitely relate on that. But I also work with obviously nervous system regulation because I think that comes into a lot of the day to day life. Um, yeah, I don't know.
Women confidence. Mums,
Women
I think
confident mums, yeah.
you speak to mums a lot in your content.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
What are some things like, because that's something we haven't spoken about with somebody on a live yet. What are
Mhm.
some of the things that you think are common sort of beliefs that rear their heads when we become a mother? Like, what are some of the common beliefs that you see mothers like? I know that one of the biggest triggers I remember for mothers when I was doing a stint of working with them was not being listened to or heard. Was like
Mhm.
when their children don't listen, it's like their inner child screams. But what other sort of things are you noticing with mums? Patterns, I mean, nervous system, you just said burnout. Like,
Yeah,
what are you
burnout
noticing with
is
mums and how can Aruka help them?
well, I think burnout and exhaustion is huge for mums, but I also think that we get caught up in the way that it looks on Instagram and social media as a mum. And like, you know, there's so many mums like, oh, I want to be the woman with the chickens that's doing this, and she's doing this as well. And like, it for everybody, like, it's not just it could be that easy, but it's not because you do have kids. And I think we need to really separate the two. And I don't know if you saw today, but like I actually came on and just opened up about my experience as a mum with a child that has pandas, which that's very, very hard because like I do feel often dysregulated and things because there's a lot going on there. And I think to be able to work with mums to remember to center themselves, but not have this like 3 hour long morning ritual that they need to do to center themselves, but to be able to just like do it in a moment, bring themselves back, and then carry on with their day, I think is
Mm.
really powerful. Um, but yeah, I think we're sold so much crap online that we think it has to look a certain way. So yeah.
Yeah. So how would you use Aruka for a mum that's, you know, maybe feeling stuck, lost, overwhelmed, like she doesn't know who she is. She's just doing everything for everybody else at the moment. Like for somebody who's, because one of the biggest blocks that I find with Aruka and with people booking in sessions with yourself, with other therapists, and with the modality in itself is that people just don't understand what it is or how it works. So if I was a mum that was coming to you, this is like really put you on the spot, but if I was a mum that was coming to you that was like overwhelmed, burnt out, and I just completely lost myself. Like I'm just doing everything for everybody else all the time. And I just have no idea who I even am as a human anymore. What would that sort of, what would a Aruka therapy session, it's very, obviously it's going to go where it's going to go, but basics, how could you describe that to somebody who's in that spot to give them that experience of what it would be like?
I feel like if you were really willing to find who you are as a human being, you'll find it within the first 10 minutes of the Ruka session. Um, and like, you know, obviously Aruka takes you where it's going to take you. But if you're really curious about finding you, finding what lights you up and things like that, then you're going to be very willing and open to go there and to let go of the beliefs around it has to be hard to be a mum and things as well. And I think again, we're also sold that, you know, there's all of these, I don't know, there's all these different stories in the world, like it has to be hard, or you have to deal with that, or, you know, like you don't actually have to. It's just a belief that you're sold. So we would really get into those and juggle them around and let you release those things that you've been told about motherhood that make it hard.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah. So a lot of it is that subconscious belief.
Mhm.
It's our mind is telling us that it's hard and it has to be hard and that we have to be a certain way. And I guess also that like the good mum, what a
Mm.
good mum looks like and what a good mum does and self-sacrificing and comes
And you
into
know,
it.
on that too, Jess, like it's really interesting, but a good mum can actually yell at her kids if she has to. Like, and that's probably very polarizing at the moment with like the way that, you know, the world is going. But like, you're not a bad mum if you yell at your kids. You know, it's just you are allowed to get dysregulated. I think
Mm.
when it comes to being a bad mum, is that you know that you're dysregulated and you're not doing anything to help yourself become more centered for your kids. And I
Yeah.
still don't think that's being a bad mum, but that's like less bad, or that's probably more bad than like trying. You know what I mean?
I always say to my clients that are mums that are worried that they're bad mums, that bad mums don't worry that they're bad mums. They're just being bad mums. Good mums worry about being bad mums. So the fact that
Yeah,
you're worrying about it tells me that you want to do better and be better, and you have
exactly.
some self-awareness there around it. So it
Yeah.
means that they're actually doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Yes. So for somebody who's wondering, so you would take them, obviously there's like a period at the start where we talk to them, we get to understand like what their
Mhm.
concerns are, and they would be saying they're feeling lost or confused or they don't know who they are anymore. And then after that, after we've got like a bit of an understanding of, okay, these are the things that they're struggling with, we obviously put them into the theta brainwave.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when you say working with the subconscious mind and finding the beliefs, that's where we normally find those subconscious beliefs. And I guess a lot of people probably don't even have that awareness that our subconscious beliefs create our perception, and our perception
Mhm.
creates our everyday experiences. But even on a nervous system level, there is, even once we shift those subconscious beliefs, a nervous system that's cooked, dysregulated, and that's where having the somatic release and knowing how to regulate the nervous system throughout the session comes into play too, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And I do find like a lot of the time I'm working with my clients to really feel safe in the moment, because maybe they've been through stuff that doesn't allow them to feel safe, like to relax, to then go into the subconscious. And I think with all the tools that I've got, especially with the Aruka as well, like it's very easy for them to then start to feel safe enough to relax. A lot of mums can't relax. So to relax into it and then to be able to move through those pieces.
Why do you think a lot of mums can't relax?
I think again, it's something that we've been sold. It's something we've been sold. You always have to be on edge. You always have to do everything for everyone else, and like we have trouble relaxing to like do something for us. I
Mm,
I'll even go back
receiving.
to like to receive, but even like one time, so like I mentioned before, obviously my son pandas and all these things, and I was working with a therapist for him, and she said, "But what about you?" And I was like, "Oh, what about me? I'll get to me later." And she goes, "Think of it like an airplane. The airplane's going down. If you don't put your oxygen mask on first, how can you look after him?" And I was
Mm.
like, "Oh, that was huge." So I'm like, "Okay, I'll start doing the work on me again." Like that was massive. And that's what I say to people as well. They're always like worried about what's going on in the background. But if you can't hold yourself first, you actually can't hold them.
Mm.
So I
And it's
think,
so true. And
yeah,
like we want to do all of the things for them, but we're
yeah,
dysregulating ourselves in the process of doing that. And then oftentimes I find people punishing their children for all the things that they're doing for them. And they're like, I do everything for you, but they're choosing to do everything for them. And so there's
yeah,
this disconnect between what you're choosing, not what they're asking for, and what you're over giving. And then
yeah,
the resentment that comes from that. Whereas if we just pull back a little bit, there's less
yeah,
resentment, less burnout, less fatigue.
yeah,
So yeah, I think there is a lot of common beliefs around what a mum has to look like and has to be like, and how we have to act and what we have to do for our kids. And I think subconscious beliefs and those narrative flips are some of the most powerful things out there, because when you start to focus on you as a mum, you have so much more capacity for them. And
mhm,
generational healing as well. What we heal in ourselves, we heal in our children, and it ripples through
yeah,
energetically. Have you had clients? I know that there was an example of someone in the clinic that had seen a woman whose her daughter was having really bad separation anxiety at school, and it was affecting her. And she did a session around it. And once she did the session herself, the daughter's separation anxiety just completely stopped, with no intervention with the actual daughter. It was all coming from the mum and her own separation anxiety she used to get at school. And it just rippled through without a word being spoken. Do you have examples like that where you've worked with people and it's gone through generations, or it's affected the children by working on the parent?
well, yeah, I guess so in a way. Um, I've worked with a daughter whose mum then came and worked with me and like had the most profound experience, because probably because her daughter had done a lot of work and she was ready to open up and do a lot of digging because of that. Um, And I feel like that was really cool because it's rippled up. I've actually had a couple of experiences like that. So it's rippled up the levels and then kind of out. There's also been experiences, you probably know, that a daughter's visited me and then a sister and then a mother and that sort of thing as well. And it's sort of like all rippled around. And that's been really cool too, because you get to see the different stages of healing on a family tree. And like that experience was very mind blowing. So yeah, I don't want to say too much, but yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to share with, obviously, without permission from somebody to tell the exact stories.
Yeah.
So for someone who's considering booking in a session, trying arousal therapy, studying arousal therapy, I would love for you to just, speak about your experience with it, but also, how it works, what you like, just anything that you want to say about it, that for people who are considering booking a session with you and people who are considering studying about it. Just, I always find it difficult to put into words what it is and how it works myself.
Yeah, I've seen you do that. Nah.
Yeah.
Look, honestly, like I feel like Aruka has been such a profound like modality to get me to where I am today and to get me to believe in myself a bit more. But also sometimes, you know, I've just had a baby and stuff, so I'm coming back to work now. And in the last, you know, year or so, I've found that there's been like a lot of turbulence for me in my life, and just bringing myself back and being like, okay, I've got this tool belt that I've studied all these things. Aruka has always been the one that's brought me back. Like I could do breath work, I can do energy activate, like whatever. Anytime I've used the modality of Aruka, it's always centered me almost instantly. You know, it's just to be able to go through, and now, like, you know, obviously I do Aruka, so I can find my own subconscious beliefs, or I can go find an Aruka healer and work with them. To then have somebody so quickly be able to pick up this, and help me to release it, like it just changes me as a human being.
That's the benefit of going to someone else, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
I had those issues working with my own mind where I was like blocked from being able to see what was actually there, because my subconscious was still blocking me even when I thought I was in my subconscious. And that's the power of it, isn't that it's completion. It's finding the source of something that you just never would have picked to be the source. You just never know where it's going to go, but you're always going to find the root cause of whatever it is that's causing the suffering in that present moment.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Yeah. So is there anything else that you want to say to people who would be on the fence at the moment, who I'm considering booking in a session, something that a message for them about working with you?
Working with me, or just working with Aruka in general, like honestly, if you are thinking about it, do it, because it's not something that you're ever going to regret. You're never going to regret feeling better, and Aruka is going to get you there. Like,
I think there's that perception that it might get worse, and the fear that, like, what's going to be in the unknown. And
I think we're all afraid of the unknown, and that's okay. But an Aruka therapist, myself included, is always going to make you feel safe, comfortable, and not pressured. Like, that's not what Aruka is. And you see, you know, like you said, the breathwork boys, like bros, whatever. You see all of this like crazy somatic healing online where they're like showcasing these men breaking down and in tears and things like that. And that's just one step of like a very small layer of healing. You don't need to have these big cathartic breakdowns to heal. And so maybe a lot of people might be on the fence of healing because of that. But Aruka is not going to allow you to go anywhere that you don't feel comfortable.
And I think the rule of thumb as well that I teach is that we don't open anything that we can't close. We don't leave something open. And a lot of people think that they're going to walk away with something open and raw because they've had so many therapy sessions or somatic sessions where it's brought everything to the surface and they didn't know what to do with it. And yes, there's like always a little bit of processing time, and like there can be some emotions that come up, but we never leave anything open. We're always closing it off.
Yeah, and that's the trauma part too. Like, I feel like trauma informed was such a word that has been thrown around, but Aruka is absolutely trauma informed. Like, I've gone over sessions an hour just to make sure that my client is feeling okay within themselves and safe within themselves so they can continue on. You know, I would never leave a client like that, and I don't think any integral therapist would, and Aruka is certainly not that kind of modality. So
Which is wild, isn't it? Because the length of the session and actually completing things in a session isn't even part of a trauma-informed practice. It's like creating safety, going slowly, titration, building safety, building trust. That's not even part of it. I've worked with trauma-informed therapists that completely fucked me because they were like, "Oh, time's up." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm in the middle of this thing."
yeah,
And yeah, that's the most untrauma informed thing that you can do. If you've got to push
yeah,
clients, you've got it like that's when business starts to become more important, and
yeah,
finances become more important than integrity and healing and like the person in front of you.
yeah, yeah. And I just Aruka's not that. I don't think anybody that's studied Aruka would be like that, especially with your selection process. So
I also think that like the people that I magnetize and align with, and the calls that I have, and the people that are coming into the Eureka certification are finding me and going, this is what I want. I want the depth. I want the integrity. I want the realness. I want all of the juice. And they want that because they want the best results possible, not because they want to be able to charge more for a session or because they want the next cool big thing. They actually really fucking care. And I feel
yeah,
like that's Aruka therapy, like Aruka therapists, like they really fucking care. That's like
yeah.
tagline. They really care.
Maybe you
But
should change that.
yeah, I should trademark that. Aruka therapy. We really fucking care.
Yeah.
But but it is true. And I think I haven't had anybody who has come through the certification that hasn't been that human. And I think it also comes from the fact that, like you said earlier, you've had your own childhood trauma, domestic violence. You got to this place where you were depressed and anxious and just not coping. I actually think that that's almost like initiation for this level of work that we do, because I think that, yes, there's some people that don't have a lot of trauma that can do really powerful work, but when you've deeply suffered, you know how how to not make that worse for somebody, and you care more than somebody that's
Yeah.
more intellectual education background and base that's sticking to like these rules. When you've suffered, it's different, don't you think?
Oh, I totally, yes, I agree. I've worked with people before, and like, not to say like there's big T and little T and your trauma is better than mine and whatever, but like I really do. I feel like there's people out there that don't care because they've actually just never experienced that kind of thing before. And
Mm.
yeah, you can still do the healing work. Like, you can still be a healer and work with people, but you just need to make sure you really understand it before you do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that integrity of wanting to complete something, not
Yeah.
just get what you can get done sort of thing.
Yeah. And I think as well, like, there was like this whole time where the healing world, and it's probably still going on now, but it was like, it was all about how much money you could make, and like, I'm going to do this because I'm going to make so much money and blah, blah. And I just think it's actually really gross. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like,
Actually, the most popular certifications right now, based off my studies and analysis, is and knowing how many enrollments they're doing, are the ones that spruik how much money you can make from it, and
yeah,
how you can set your business up and start seeing clients at $400, $500, and if you do this many per week, you can have this thriving coaching business. And I'm not opposed to making money. Like, my sessions are over $600,
yeah,
but I also think that coming out of a certification fresh and charging that price is one thing, but
mhm,
also I think that the integrity behind it is lost when it's being pitched as, this is how you're going to make big money. You lose the heart, you lose the soul, and you can't do the level of like intuitive. Like, a lot of what we do is intuitive and it's
mhm,
energetic, and we are connected to that person, and that's what's missing in a lot of modalities. Is
mhm.
it might be brain rewiring, subconscious beliefs, or NLP or things like that. There's no soul, there's no energetic connection, there's no intuitive guidance that, well, the script says I should do this, but I'm feeling really strongly like I need to go over and to ask them some questions about their mum because there's something happening there. And, to have the intuition and to know how to connect into that is part of it. It's a huge part of it, and that's not
Yeah,
being taught because it's almost soulless. I feel I feel like, yeah, and it's
Yeah.
anyone that has soul and integrity and that connection and wants to work in that way, you see these things and you're like, oh,
Yeah. No, I completely agree. Completely agree. Yes.
full rant. But anyway, it's
On a
it's the
tangent.
world we live in. The way that I like to think about it, I said it to someone the other day who's in a similar boat, and I said, well, the way that I think about it is they are the introductory level. So people will come in at that level. And this is like, like Mel Robbins. I think about her book, The Let Them Theory, and I think about a lot of that is like Buddhist surrender, let go. Like there's so many
Yeah.
things that people are saying it's not deep enough and it's not realistic. It's not all these things, but it's been now sent to millions of people, and those millions of people, there are going to be some people who go, this is good, but what else is there? And so
Mm-hmm.
there's a place for all of those. And I think all of those people who go through those certifications, there's going to be a number of people that come out of those certifications and go, that was good, but I still don't feel equipped to deal with trauma. I still don't feel equipped to practice with people, or there feels like there's something missing. I feel
Yeah.
like that is where Ruka, we're like, we know what it is.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
know.
Yeah. No, Aruka is really a testament to obviously all of your experiences and all your trainings, and like the way that you've put everything in together that you know and recognize. Like it's so powerful. Like, we were saying before about the life coaching and stuff, and how you just mentioned before the script. I was like, I don't want to stick to this script. I don't want to do these 12 sessions and do like that's too much. Like you don't normally need that much,
Yeah, and
and
that's
it's a
yes.
trap. It's a trap.
That's a really good point too, because like
Yeah.
the people always say, like, do you do session packages and how many sessions? And it's like, how much trauma do you have? If you've
Mm.
only got a few things, we might need a couple of sessions and then I'll see you in 6 months. If you've got a lot, we might do more intense and then we might back off. Like every experience is different and you can't package that up and you can't script that and you can't put people into those categories of,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I do packages, but like when I do my packages, like I work with people over 3 months. We do cover breath work, we do cover energy work, but the deepest part of it is the Aruka, and then we do that at the start. The rest
Mm,
is the tools. The rest of the tools that you then go along with to carry through your life. But
like
Aruka is like the
integration.
start. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm,
So
yeah, love that.
I did it. I love working with people that way, because then you can come off like, a one-off appointment here and there if you want it, if you want a breath work or whatever, that's great. But like we're gonna start with the deep stuff first.
And that is the best way. I think people
100%.
I see so many practitioners teaching the opposite, where you've got to like build trust, build safety, go in easy and go slow, da da. And I feel like, again, I feel like I'm polarizing myself when I say that, because we're saying that people are traumatizing people by doing these huge somatic releases and bringing it all up. But actually, there's a difference between doing it one-on-one, intentionally going in
Mm.
and dealing with the biggest things first and straight up and shifting them so that they can go, oh, wow, okay, I feel a huge release from that. Now let's go into X, Y, Z, versus
Yeah.
bringing that all up in a breath work or in a group setting or in something and then having no completion, no idea what to do with it. It's a completely different experience and people are getting those two confused. I see people
Yeah.
saying, you should never go straight into the trauma in the first session. And I'm like, fucking watch me. I do that every single time.
Yeah, absolutely do it. And I think like with Aruka as well, I mean, I've had clients where they haven't felt safe enough to actually go that deep. That's fine. We can still use Aruka for other things, and we can still, work on that safety piece using Aruka, because the first thing that we want to do is touch the deep stuff, so then we can go ahead afterwards and do the breath work and like energetically move it out of your body too. So yeah.
Absolutely. And it comes in layers. I think I've had clients who are like, I'm not ready to even say out loud what happened. I just can't say it. And I'm like, cool. What's the worst thing that could happen if you did? And we're actually spending the first session just uncovering the
Mm-hmm.
fear that they have around doing that, processing some other memories so that their brain can go, oh, this actually really works. And every time that they come back for their second session, they're ready. And if you think about how many people would be spending years with a therapist, with doing talk therapy, going around that, and we can do one session to release that fear and to process things so that the brain knows and they're ready to go on the second session. It's
Yeah.
quite remarkable. We're actually so much more, humans are so much more resilient and powerful than we've been led to believe. We just have so much ability to heal. We like, it's actually incredible.
Yeah, we are amazing.
We are amazing. It's amazing what's possible.
Yeah, and that's it. Like, there is so much that's possible with us as humans. We just don't know it. But we can reach those late. And I think Aruka, like, honestly, it taught me so much about myself that I didn't know, and so much about humans that I didn't know, and what we are actually capable of.
Yes, and because it connects that human and the body and the nervous system to the quantum, to the energetic, to the entanglements, to the heart coherence. Like, it's everything. It's everything all together to understand you're a soul, but you're also a human, and you're also energy, and you're also all these different things
We
at
can go on
once.
and on, right? Like,
Forever. I could go on and on forever. But amazing. Well, I feel like I've kept you for long enough today. I know you've got to get back to Bubs. So we will end it there. Thank you so much for coming on, talking Aruka. For anybody who wants to book a session with Bridie, I'll link her when I post this live, and then we'll also link her in any of the clips. So you'll be able to go over to her Instagram and check her out over there, and check out her website if you still got a website. Instagram is a great place to be.
yeah,
Instagram. So yeah, anyone who's looking to experience Aruka therapy, Bridie's been doing it for a long time. As we said, she was my first student, so she does incredible work. I've had some sessions with Bridie too over the years. We did kind of like a breath work and then blended some Aruka into it as things came up, as we should.
As we should, yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I can vouch that Bridie is incredible. So anybody who is looking for someone to experience Aruka with, highly, highly recommend Bridie. Thanks for being here, and I love you, and bye.
I love you too. Thanks, Jen. Bye.